So I want to proclaim the message loud and wide. We need to look after the planet. If we don't, the human race won't survive the next 1,000 years.
Renowned physicist Stephen Hawking passing away at the age of 76. He was famous for his theories on black holes and expanding what we think of the universe. He recently warned humans have 200 years to escape Earth or face extinction. He said it could be asteroids, artificial intelligence, or other things. There were a lot of threats that could cause it. Theoretical physicist Dr. Michael Guillen is here to remember Stephen Hawking and discuss his prediction. Sir, thanks a lot. Obviously, the accolades have not stopped coming in for Dr. Hawkins and what he meant for mankind and our understanding of the universe around us. What are your thoughts?
Well, he was one for the ages, Charles, for sure. I first had the pleasure of meeting him in the mid-1980s. I was teaching physics at Harvard at the time, and he showed up to give a speech. At that time, he was already wheelchair-bound. You know, When he was in his early 20s, he was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. But he could still speak, even though when I say speak, I use that term loosely. He could mumble. So the whole speech was basically him mumbling a string of sentences and then waiting for his young assistant who was standing next to his wheelchair to translate to the audience. And that went on for more than an hour. The place was packed. He wasn't a public figure back then, but he was already something of a celebrity within scientific circles because of his really kind of back then zany ideas about black holes and the origins of the universe. But I will never forget that moment when I first met him. He was special in so many ways, not only obviously a very intelligent man, but he had a great sense of humor. Oftentimes you see that combination. Intelligence is associated with a sense of humor, and Dr. Hawking certainly had that combination.
You know, of course, his book, A Brief History of Time, sold 10 million copies. I bought a copy. Yeah. I'll admit I still don't know what I read, but it was very intriguing, and it certainly, I think, for the world, brought us closer to wanting to know, which I think is really critical in this day and age.
You know, I laugh because I can't tell you how many people have told me that. I think it's probably the most best-selling non-read book in the world. You know, people have it on their coffee table to show how intelligent they are, but it is a little dense, even though Hawking intended it for the public. You know, he was pretty lofty-minded, and so even his attempt. It's interesting, the man who went on to co-author some of his books, Leonard Mlodinow, is also a friend of mine. So I have a lot of memories associated with Stephen Hawking, his scientific contributions, but also his earnest attempts to try to communicate the beauty and the majesty and the awe of science to the average man and woman.
Of course, he was not without controversy, and perhaps the last one was this notion that mankind is going to have to find a way to escape Earth, which is interesting in the sense that most in the scientific community only see the good, right? For futurists from day one have always said, hey, the advent of robots will free mankind up for greater pursuits like using larger portions of our brain and being good to the planet. But he saw something a little bit more sinister.
Yeah, he did it. He's not the only one. Elon Musk does. And you know, I just finished writing a manuscript of a book that's going to be coming out in mid-October, trying to foresee what's going on with all this new technology. But you know, Charles, I wonder, because you're right, and I think, with all due respect, I think Stephen went off a little bit at the deep end towards the end when he was predicting that we only have 100 years to live. The human species will disappear within 100 years because of all these things you were mentioning and others. And he felt that we needed to colonize space in order to survive. And I wonder now whether he wasn't sensing his own impending doom. You know, friends close to him said within the last year, you know, he was really slowing down, really beginning to deteriorate. And I'm wondering if he didn't allow that to infect. But listen, he was given only until age 25 to live by the doctors, and he lived to be 76 years old. So he beat the odds, and I suspect we're going to be able to beat the odds as a human species as well.
Dr. Guillen, thank you very much. Again, we lost a giant, and we really appreciate you weighing in on this, and look forward to reading your book that you're working on as well. Thank you very much.